Hi there, welcome. My name is Maeve, and whether you've been with me before or you're just arriving, my intention today is to alchemize any residue in our hearts that doesn't serve the collective, spread more awareness, and hold each other more accountable. I want to share something that's sitting heavy on my chest right now, not to shame anyone, but because I think it speaks to something broken in how people relate to one another and where our society is currently at, and how I wish some of us were doing better. Last week, I was talking to a man who casually mentioned that the woman he's seeing is temporary, that there's a time limit to their connection, basically doesn't see a future with her, doesn't see her as the mother to his children. And something in me sank. I don't take that lightly, not because I'm judging him and not because I don't care. In fact, I care so deeply about both of them. I care about the consequences of our choices, especially the quiet ones. I know what it's like to give years, precious, fertile, hopeful years, to men who didn't know what they wanted. While I believed love would make it clear, no one warned me what that would eventually cost me. So when I heard this, part of me wanted to protect her, to say the things that I wish someone could have said to me, to spare me years of despair and the current uncertainty I'm facing, whether it's too late for me at age 36 to create my own family. So I told him, hey, I sincerely ask that you respect her biological clock, and if she's not for you, please let her go sooner than later so you don't rob her of her future children. And he was absolutely outraged. He told me it was a nasty thing to say, couldn't believe I just said that if he spoke to me that way, with that energy, that I'd crumble into paste. And then he blocked me. And honestly, that shocked me. Not only because of the block, but because of after 6 years of knowing me, my care landed as an attack. And that he saw me as the dangerous one and had such vengeful thoughts towards me. It shook me to realize that someone I had known as intelligent, growth-oriented, well-spoken, and good-hearted could revert back into such a primal state of unevolved survival, blaming me for his own triggers, and just how easy it is for people to avoid accountability, especially when they're under a wicked concoction of honeymoon phase pleasure, not seeing things clearly. How confronting truth, especially truth about impact, can feel like violence to someone who's never learned how to sit with that. I wasn't trying to control anyone. I wasn't trying to punish. I was trying to prevent harm. And it's a tragedy that our culture expects women to bear the emotional cost of choices quietly, while men are rarely taught to fully hold the weight of their own choices. I want better for all of us, more honesty, more courage, and more reverence for time, bodies, and futures. Now, if I could share the bit of guidance that I wish I had earlier in my journey, a key difference between men and women in terms of mating. If a woman has an orgasm with a man, she bonds to him more deeply than the man, unfortunately. Many women sleep with a man too soon, thinking that it will bond him to her, and this is usually not the case. Women receive a lot more oxytocin, the bonding hormone, during physical intimacy than men do. For men, it's more of a dopamine hit, and they don't bond to women in the same way. Casual sex is generally harder for women, and this is why people end up in situationships, even though some women can pretend it doesn't affect them. Women often use their own theory of mind, thinking, for a man to have mated with me, he must really care for me, because women only mate with men that they are fond of, that they're pretty attracted to. But unless there's a sufficient emotional connection beforehand for the man, this is not typically what he's thinking. He's thinking, that was a tasty treat. Everyone's eating it. I'll come back when I'm hungry, but it's not the dessert I'm going to settle for. So price is an indicator of quality. As women, we are the gatekeepers, and we need to raise the price. The bar is currently far too low for most men with dating apps, birth control, easy access to a lot of women. Men bond more to others with a hormone called vasopressin, especially as they mature. Vasopressin is what bonds men to other men when they tackle goals or challenges together out in the wilderness, like old times, and it's a powerful tool in relationships. If a woman can make a man feel that she is his ally, he will bond more. Doing things like challenging puzzles together, supporting one another's goals, solving problems together, working on projects, even expressing desires and guiding him with how you like pleasure will increase vasopressin bonding. As long as a woman is an asset to men and they don't argue or get in the way of a man's goals, he will bond to her via vasopressin. All of this to say, women need to be mindful and raise their standards a bit. Even though I didn't grow up with any religious or moral background, I've learned these lessons the hard way, and I've come to my own conclusion that physical intimacy before a solid foundation, commitment, and provision from the divine masculine is just not worth it. Women end up trapped, hormonally bonded to a man who only sees her as an option. I share this not to shame, but to awaken awareness of our time, our bodies, our hearts. Women need to protect their worth, and men need to honor the lives they touch. Because love without responsibility is just regret in slow motion, and none of us deserve that. Thank you for being here. Share this with someone that you think would really benefit. Thank you.